Hello there, my name is Angel Storado. This is my video for CSC376 Assignment 3, so going over my chat server as well as my chat client scripts that I wrote in Python, so going over the code for chat assignments. So here is chat server, general imports for dealing for system commands, as well as sockets. I have two data structure sockets, a list, and a user's dictionary. Here's a chat server main function, instantiating the port based on the set of arguments. If it's greater than 1, else I'm using this general number for that port, but this can honestly be anything. I'm creating my server sockets. This is using the code given inside the class. Example files. Here I'm binding the server to the ports and catching exceptions if I get some. If I get any, I'm appending the sockets to the server, or appending the server to sockets, excuse me, as well as creating my send message function, which is how the messages are going to be sent between clients through the server. So taking 3 parameters: a server, a socket, and a message. We're checking for each sock within the sockets list I created earlier. We're checking to see the socket is a server, as well as the socket is a sockets, or the same socket that is a parameter within the function. If both these conditions hold true for the if statements, then we're gonna have the socket send the encoded message to the other clients. Here's my while true structure. Reading in the sockets that I created earlier. We're checking for each sockets within that readable, and for everything that's been read, I should say, we're checking to see if the socket is a server. If it is, then we're gonna have the server accept it and get the definition of the sockets. We're gonna append the sockets to the sockets list, as well as instantiate our user dictionary with empty string for the name or the value of the dictionary, the key. Else, if our socket is not a server, then we're gonna get our data. We're gonna receive it from the sockets. This 4896 is essentially the size in bytes of the message. And the data is true. So if data, meaning that the data is populated, it's not empty string, for example, we're gonna get our users. We're gonna check to see if the value of the users is not empty string. If it isn't, then we're gonna format our message, or this is the formatted message as per the instructions of the assignments. So the name of the user or the name of the client, colon, and then the overall message, which we have to decode because whenever we send a message, we encode it. So this is the decoded message. Then we're gonna send messages as parameters. Else, if the user is an empty string, if the socket is empty string, then we're gonna get the decoded message and we're gonna strip it and use that as the username. Else, if the data is not populated, so if the data is false or just empty, then we're checking for each socket and sockets. We're removing the sockets from the sockets list, as well as deleting the user from the dictionary. At the end, for each socket and sockets, we're closing all sockets. We're closing all the sockets, as well as closing our server sockets. And here is chat clients. So a lot of this is the same as we saw from chat server. It's just instead of creating a server socket, we're creating a client socket. So same instantiation of ports, same creation of client socket, as well as the same way of connecting the client socket. The only difference is that it's chat server, we bind it, and chat client, we're connecting because the client connects to the server. Here's my while true structure. We're reading in the sockets list and checking for each socket inside sockets list. If the socket is not a client socket, then we're gonna read our inner message from the file using this standard input. This is why we need the sys imports or library. If the message is not empty, or the message is empty, excuse me, then we're gonna exit out of the system because it's just an empty message. The file is empty and the client can't send that. Else, if the message is populated, if the message is actually present, we're gonna have the client socket send the message, of course, encoded. Else, if the socket is a client socket, then we're gonna get the data that we receive from the client sockets, of course, encoded bytes 496. And the data is not present, then we're just gonna exit out, meaning the data is just empty. Else, if the data is not empty, then we need to print out the data decoded for the text files. or for clients being able to send to each other via text files. Then we're gonna check for each socket and socketlets. We're gonna close all the sockets as well as close our overall client sockets, and that is the code for chat server and chat clients. Now just running the two test scripts in order to make sure the functionality works as intended per the assignment. You'll see that test 1 terminates properly, meaning that the example scripts work for that in terms of the clients talking to each other and sending messages. Test 2 also will terminate properly. The first test, executing 2 clients with a single message. Single message meaning that the text files only have 1 line of text, and that works properly. 2 clients of multiple messages. Multiple messages meaning that the clients send text files that have more than 1 line of text within the file itself. That also works. The 3 clients single message, so just adding another endpoint. So now instead of communication between 2 clients, it's 3 clients. That works. 3 clients with multiple messages. That will also work, as well as executing 3 new clients with multiple messages. That works, which gets us our full marks, full points of 17. And that's all for a video. Thank you for watching.